What's going on? I usually wait about a minute because these are always live videos. I try to wait for some people to show up. And if not, then I get started. Usually about a minute. It's been a long week. Some things are better, some things are worse. Definitely in that middle ground. Kind of the morphing of symptoms. That's pretty much where I'm at. So anyway, long enough. So yeah, it's been a long week. So I am just pushing through, and the head pressure got better. Still there a little bit. Still getting the crawling in my head, but that was kind of the last, one of the symptoms that was pretty intense. It's calmed down a bunch. My physical symptoms are still really heavy, but not as bad as they were. But I'm also trying to take it as easy as possible, which helps. But I'm telling you, every time I do anything, I'm hoping this isn't my baseline because it got worse. It's just not something I'm happy with, So mental symptoms got worse. I'm way more unstable. Had a lot of stress again. So I can't tell you that. I always told you since day one, stress is a killer in benzo withdrawal syndrome. And it's one of those things. It's like you're tapering medication. Stress is just brutal in this. So I'm not going to go into detail what happened, but it has nothing to do with my personal life. But it was something that was pretty heavy and caused me a shock, kind of again. It's compounding over and over and over, and I don't even know. I don't know what to say about stuff like that. It won't stop. I just want to live my life every day and do my job and, see the people that I care about. And it's always something big. It's always something big causing me stress. And as people who, watch this know, the nervous system is a fickle bitch. Once it is sensitized, it's so hard to get back. Being on other medications makes a huge deal. Stress is just as bad. Stress is just as bad as tapering. It's brutal. It's like you do a cut. It's like you're doing a cut on your medication. These shocks, and then it compounds, and then it got so bad for me that now I'm getting morphing symptoms. I haven't had that in years. It morphs a little bit, but it's slow, It's usually pretty typical. But now, I don't know what's typical, and I can't make plans anymore. I can't do anything I want to do. And it's not because I'm just not wanting to push myself. It's because I am definitely mentally not able to do a lot of things to where, if I do them, it's going to set me back really harsh. Whereas before, I could do something that I knew would set me back a little. But now it's much worse. So that's where we're at. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. But, I only got one person on here. You can say hello if you want. But usually we have more people on at 10 o'clock my time. I'm always willing to answer questions and stuff like that if you have them. I've been in this for a long time. Some things are way worse. Some things are not. My physical symptoms are way worse. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for saying hello. Some things are way worse. Some things are way better. My physical symptoms are way worse. My mental symptoms are way worse. But I don't really, I'm able to do things still, but it's just rough. Really bad day for you today, Patricia. I'm sorry to hear that. It's never good. Never good. I try to, man, it's so hard to be positive on my worst days. I think it was last week or something, it was literally, no, it was probably even 2 weeks ago. I don't know now. But I should go back to my own videos and find out. But it was one of the worst days I had in 5 years. I didn't think I was going to recover. I'm still not recovered from it, but at least I'm not in an acute situation. Some of the symptoms are worse than acute, though, and some of them are better, so it all depends on what it is, But it's morphing around, moving around, and changing around, so never know what I'm going to get every day. With the major stress recently, yesterday actually, I've been having vertigo off and on today. Now I'm having that, my brain is so exhausted. I'm having that where I walk and like if I'm walking on the street, it feels like the street is doing this. But usually that fades out after stress fades out. It was weird. Well, that walking on a boat feeling, it's not like that. It's just different. It just looks like, it's hard to explain. It's just a little different. Hello, Eric. Good evening to you. So I'm really unstable, and it'll probably stay that way for a while as long as I try to relax and cool it. Hopefully things kind of return back to some sort of normal baseline, but I have a feeling it's going to be a little while. So my heater is so loud to like kick it or something. It's buzzing. I've been trying to eat more because I've been losing a ton of weight. Since 2 years ago, after I over-tapered Remeron, I was losing weight. And I slowly lost weight as my stress continued. And then I had more stress, lose more weight, and so on. And so I'm just trying to eat more, remain healthy, but eat more and see what happens. I don't think it's going to help any right now because too many stressors are happening. So, and I expect them to continue for a while. So I'm kind of expecting it. But I think it sucks that you have to expect stress in your life. Like this, like hardcore stress. But hopefully things will calm down. Things will become more positive and uplifting. So the stress calms down. I can get back to a more healthy weight and get my head back to be a little clearer because right now it's very benzo withdrawal feeling and very detached, and DPDR is huge, and it's very choppy, and then my memory and all that stuff, just all the brain stuff. It's rough. I'd never expected it to get back to this kind of point, but some parts of the days it's almost like gets a little better and then it gets shit. So I'm hoping that little bit of up and down, it'll just kind of go back to where it was once I'm not so exhausted of stress, stuff like that. It's that compounding stress and weird shit happening lately. It's a really off time in my life, big time, but there's some great things happening in my life too. So I don't know. I could really do without the creepy physical symptoms too getting worse, because as much as I can deal with the physical more than the mental, having them together is no fun. Anyway, so I feel like I look okay today. Um, it's just I've been exhausted and I've been sleeping, but and I was talking about this earlier, not to you, but it's just weird, and I know some of you can relate that like you can sleep a lot and you end up feeling worse the next day. And sometimes you'll have a rough night and not sleep all night, get up and fuck around and have half a night of sleep, and you'll feel more stable and better the next day. I mean, it never lasts, but that's how it goes for me, and it's weird. So, like, sometimes it almost resets some stuff. I don't really understand it. I couldn't, it's like how doctors aren't going to understand it. I certainly ain't going to understand it. But I could tell you what's happening. That's about it. I can't tell you why. You know. Funny. I mean, if you remember, when I started doing these videos many, many, many years ago, I was wearing these same glasses. But now I have contacts on, and I just use these ones for readers, which is weird. So these used to be my regular glasses. Now they're readers. So yeah, I take day by day, and sometimes it's hour by hour, but lately it's been about every few hours by every few hours. Yeah, it's yesterday was a really hard day, and I have a good support system, so I'm glad for that, and made it a lot easier for me to get through it. But it's like it's not really like I'm ever through it. It's like when something happens that's really stressful for somebody with a compromised immune system and nervous system, it's something that can go on for weeks to months. It doesn't just walk away. So you do the best you can. you know hmm. I've been listening to a lot more music, which has been good. I'm not having any like really bad auditory issues. I always worry about that kind of stuff because I did for a few years after Benzo's, where like I couldn't really listen to music. I mean, I'm still more, my sensory stuff is still worse than it's been in a while, but it's not that bad. Eric asked, "Do you have tinnitus?" Yes, but I've also had tinnitus ever since I was in in a bunch of bands when I was younger, and I never wore hearing protection. So I've always had it, and it got worse through the years. Eventually, I started wearing earplugs, so it didn't get worse. But when I have my symptoms are really ramped up, and especially when I got pulled off of benzos and stuff like that, my tinnitus was doubled. So, like, if I taper my meds, even after this, like my last week, like when I was having the worst day, the tinnitus doubled. Um, but as always, when things calm down, that calms down as well. So, I don't. I sleep with some. I hear you there. Well, you hear me with tinnitus, but I sleep with an air purifier on, so there's some white noise, and it's to a point where I can get through my day without listening to it. And you know how sometimes when you do have tinnitus, you'll have a moment during the day where like one ear or whatever, it'll get really loud for a moment. I can still never get used to that. Hello, Patricia. Yeah, Patricia, do I have any panic episodes? Absolutely. But not as much as I used to. But lately, when things have been really bad, I did. A couple weeks back. It wasn't a. I can't say it was a full panic attack, I would say it was like an anxiety attack. It was like close to getting to the panic. It was on the edge, but I don't want to think about it too much. I don't want to get my head there, But yeah, it's been a long time. I actually, it was probably a year before I had a, panic attack. So I'm really working hard to kind of steer away from thinking about that stuff. But I guess if a panic attack happened, I just have to like live with it and just get through it. I mean, it is what it is. My problem isn't so much the panic attacks, more the after effects of the panic attacks that, as a normal person with a panic attack, it goes away in 10 minutes and they're really tired and exhausted and but like for a compromised nervous system, that panic attack is so stressful, like it'll fuck up my symptoms for a good few weeks, maybe even longer. So that's why I do my best not to have them, but I can't. You can't force them to stop. It's all fucking adrenaline and shit. So, but yeah, I do, just not as much as I used to. I get more anxiety attacks now, which is I just think about that as like the lesser version of panic, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just how I view it. So, I don't know. Anxiety's been rough though, in general. After I had COVID, and to just know that COVID brings anxiety and depression on a lot of people is sad. It's really sad, but it made mine much worse. And it's now the longest anxiety episode I've had probably in my life. And it just continues every day. And it's just this ongoing feeling in my stomach that shoots out this adrenaline anxiety to me, which then makes my symptoms worse in general. It sensitizes my nervous system more, and it's exhausting. So, yeah. I'm going to cut off here in a minute. So if you have anything else to ask, I would ask soon. Gotta do a few things before I go to bed. Oh, Eric. So, air hunger after waking up? Well, not specifically after I wake up. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I guess if I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. Again, it's been a long time since I've had stuff like that. But my wave recently was, like I said, it was very acute. And it brought out a lot of things that I haven't felt in years and dealt with. And there was one night I woke up, I'm like, I had it, and I'm just like, fuck me, really? So I was pretty disappointed in that. But yeah, I mean, when I was off benzos, I would say I had air hunger for about 2 years. It'd be at night, I would just try to fall asleep, and when I was about to fall asleep, air hunger. And it was so fucking bizarre. Not cool at all. It's a rough one. That is a rough one. That shouldn't even exist. Yeah, I hear you. So, you don't even have to tell me how much it sucks, because I already get it. But I mean, I can relate, and I guess relating is good, but I kind of wish I didn't relate to that. It is terrifying, and of course, that cycles and circles and makes your other things worse because it's scary. So, yeah. And people tell you not to be scared of it because it's not going to kill you, but I get it. But seriously, it does go away. It comes back once in a while, like for me it does. But, again, I'm still on Remeron. I haven't tapered. My life has been a lot of stress. So, is what it is. Yeah, there's great things in my life right now, too. But, I mean, there's a lot of stress. And it won't go, so it's not stopping. So, it all makes sense, When you have a compromised brain and nervous system and immune system and all this shit, with COVID now doing weird shit to people, you don't know what's going to happen or what you're going to get. It's basically living day by day and hoping you just can make it through. That's about it. But, You know, if you're having a better day, you know, all I can say is try not to overthink it. You know, every time I have a good day, I start to overthink why and all this shit, and I ruin it. So it's basically just do your best to have the best days you can. Try to come up with a routine. You know, even if you don't feel it, you're not into it, that routine will really help. I do a routine every day no matter what. You know, I always get up after whatever so long and do my work and, you know, brush my teeth and get ready and get dressed, even if I'm not going out, which I always have to go out for something. But if I didn't, I still would get my shit together and act like a human being. Anyway, okay, I'm off. So you have a good night, and I'm gonna try to eat a little something since I'm starting to get hungry. That's something I'm gonna have to do. Is like when I do get hungry, just eat something, no matter what it is. You know. Yeah. Take care, Eric. It's good to see you, and I will try to be on again soon and keep you updated and just to chat or whatever. But I want to make some of these better, you know, these videos a little more informative, but, you know, sometimes that's hard to do. Take care, Patricia. You have a good night as well. All right, you guys and gals take care, and yeah, we'll see you soon.